Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knit California podcast. My name is Leslie. I'm Knit California here on YouTube and also over on Instagram and TikTok, and this is episode 10 of my 2024 podcast series. Today is Sunday, March 24th, and I'm excited to be back with you today for another podcast episode. I feel like I don't have a ton to talk to you about today, but I do have 3 projects and the start of some of my spring knitting plans to talk to you about. I do want to make a full spring knitting plans video. I thought I was going to be able to film that this weekend, but with other stuff going on, it's just not going to happen, and we are leaving tomorrow, Monday, probably the day that this goes live, for a spring break cruise with the family. So it's definitely not going to happen later this week because I'll be on a boat in the Pacific Ocean. So in terms of my projects and like knitting and everything that I've been getting up to today, there are several projects on my WIP list that we are not going to be talking about, including my Farnham sweater, my Sweet Shop blanket, and my Dust Bunny cardigan. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're not going to be talking about. I feel like there was another one, but it's my finished object, my Cal cardigan, that we don't need to talk about because we talked about it last week on the podcast. So today I actually want to start with my Riley tee. I've been making a ton of progress on this. I thought that I was going to be able to get it done this week, but we've had a little bit of a setback. So let's start with my Riley tee. Here it is. Let's get it up. Let's get it out. Okay, so this is the Riley tee by Rachel Kurihara. Here's my progress. It looks so good. The yarn that I'm using for this is Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. It's her Regency Romance DK base, which is a 50% merino, 50% silk yarn. It's 200 meters, which is about 218 yards per 100 grams. And that is important. So that is going to play a role in the story I'm about to tell you right now. So you can see that I've made a decent amount of progress. Oh, the color of this yarn is called Diamond of the First Water. It was from the Bridgerton collection. It's based off of Daphne, and it's this gorgeous like light blue with like purple and pink and cream in it. I love it. It's so much fun. It's really pretty. Definitely like very spring, early summer vibes for me. So what did we get done? I took my progress keeper off this because I thought we were like gonna finish the project, but I finished the body and this folded hem that you can see here. It's about a 1-inch folded hem. What I did for this is I actually bound off the whole hem just like a normal bind off. I did go up 1 needle size to make it a little bit loose and stretchy, and then what I did was I did a little whip stitch to stitch this down and create the folded hem. There is a row in the middle, so like when you knit this, you're knitting like 1 inch, a row of purls, so you can see that at the bottom, and then you knit like another inch, bind it off, fold it over. You can also see that this bind off is in a different color because at this point I started to realize I'm running out of yarn, and so I knew that the bind off and the whip stitch were going to use a lot of yarn, and so I was like, I'm just gonna do this in a contrast color, won't be able to see it, won't be an issue, sounds great, love it. And then I picked up and knit the folded collar as well. I think it looks pretty good. There are a little, like there's a little hole right here, just like, it's just from how the stitches are when you knit them and then pick them up. I tried to close that as best as possible Maybe I missed this one, but there were a couple holes like around the collar, and as I was sewing the collar down, if I noticed any holes, I tried to like do an extra loop through the like body fabric to like close them up, but I must have missed that one, so that's okay. I think I can go back and do an extra little loop. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll just like thread like I'm weaving in ends around this and try to pull it tight and then weave that into the fold down little bump edge here. But as I was like knitting the collar, I was like, I'm definitely playing yarn chicken here, starting to run out of yarn, and I posted about it on Instagram, and Selena, the dyer behind Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co, messaged me and was like, I think I have another skein of this from when I dyed your sample yarn. If you're unfamiliar, I am an affiliate for Through the Wardrobe, and so these skeins were gifted to me as part of the promotion for the Bridgerton collection. So she said, I think I have another skein, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was gonna message you to see if I can get another one added to my order, so it would be really great if that could be sent. And she said, yes, no problem. So I'm pretty sure I'm getting another skein of this when my order arrives, so I'm not sure when that will be, but that's basically the saga. Because, okay, let me show you. This is how much yarn I have left for 2 sleeves, and I just don't think that that's gonna work out for me. So another skein is necessary, and what I think happened was, because this is a merino silk yarn, the yardage is different than just like a merino nylon or a 100% merino yarn. So I was doing estimates and like yardage counts based off of like a 246 yard DK weight skein, and this is only about 218 yards. It's 200 meters. So a lot less than what I was considering, and yeah, that's it. It was a math error on my part and not understanding what the weight and yardage of this base actually would be. But overall, I'm loving how this is turning out. I've tried it on, and so I can show you a photo of that. And I think it's so good. It's gonna be so cute. It's gonna be so perfect when it finally gets done to wear this summer, so I'm really happy with it. So a little bit of a setback, but once I get that yarn in my hand, I know this is going to be finished very, very quickly and off the needles. So I am really enjoying the pattern. A couple stats for you. I'm knitting the size extra large, which corresponds to about a 49-inch bust, including 3 to 5 inches of positive ease. I'm using 4.5 millimeters for the body. I'll use them for the sleeves also. And then for all of the hems and the collar and the edges of the sleeves, I'm using a 3.5 millimeter needle. Yeah, it's a saddle shoulder construction, which I've never done before, and I really enjoyed it. You knit these, it's half twisted rib, so you're knitting through the back loop, but you're purling just normally. These little like almost racer stripes down the shoulder, and then you pick up stitches for the front and the back, and the, you know, other than like this shoulder piece, it's basically similar to a drop shoulder construction if you have knit a drop shoulder before. So definitely doable if you've never done a saddle shoulder. It wasn't that difficult to figure it out. You can do it. I believe in you. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the pattern as well besides that. So that's my Riley tee. Like I said, a small setback. It was my own fault. We're gonna get another skein eventually and it will get finished, but it is now on hold until I get that new skein of yarn. So that is the update, and let's move on now to talk about my very first pattern, my knit e-reader cozy. Do you want to be in the video? Come, Rocky. There we go. Okay. We haven't had a pup sighting in a while. Rocky wanted to say hi. Say hi, Ruck. You being a sweet boy? Okay, so last week I showed you this Kindle cozy, and this week I have knit a second one, which is this one. Let me show you. Here's my little Kindle, and I'm gonna slide it right in. And there we go. I am loving these so much. And I'm just like so excited for this pattern to be released. So the stats on this one is I knit this in some leftover yarn that I had from my Oslo sweater back that I knit a couple years ago. This is Sorella yarn in the Stellina fingering weight base, held double on the colorway Folklore. It was from her Taylor Swift collection. I love this color so much. I love that it's Taylor Swift themed yarn, and I thought it was perfect for this sample of my e-reader cozy. It is finished with an I-cord bind off. And I threaded some elastic into the I-cord bind off to really cinch it in here at the top. So if I'm holding this just from the cozy, not from the Kindle at all, like it's pretty snug in there. It's not gonna fall out, which is what I wanted. I wanted an option that was a little bit simpler than this option. This one you can see has a whole extra band here at the top, which is knit on a smaller needle size, and then you fold it over and sew it down. So the same process that's used in the hem and the collar of the Riley tee. And then I sewed on these snaps onto this little band. So when the Kindle goes in, you can snap it shut and really make sure that it's not going to fall out. Here, let's see. Little ASMR for you. So anyways, yeah, now I'm holding this. Definitely it is snug in there. So I really like this option. I think it looks cute, and it's definitely secure. But again, I wanted something a little bit simpler in case you didn't want to get all the hardware. You didn't want to knit a whole extra band on the top. And this is really nice as well. So the update on the pattern is that it's currently in testing right now. I've got about 20 people who are testing it for all different sizes of e-readers. So people who have Kindle, Kindle Paperwhite, some Kobos. Some people are testing it for their iPads, their iPad minis. So I'm really excited about that and to see all of their finished objects. Probably my favorite part of the pattern, and yes, I'm extremely biased because I wrote this pattern, is that there is a gauge calculator that is included. So there are so many different types of e-readers out there. Yes, I have one Kindle, but like I said, you know, the Kobo, the iPads, there's so many different types out there. So I didn't want to have to like figure all of them out, all of the different sizes, and then also like everybody's gauge is different. So as part of the pattern, there's a gauge calculator that is included. So how you're going to use this is you're going to input the size dimensions of your e-reader. So you can measure the width and the length. And then you're going to input your gauge. So how many stitches per how many rows, per 4 inches, or I mean, you can do it in centimeters as well. The gauge calculator, like, it says inches because that's how I measure things, but if you're going to do it all in centimeters, the math is still the same. And then the calculator spits out, okay, you should cast on this number of stitches and you should knit for this number of rows. And there's also some information in the gauge calculator on if you want to do stripes, like the whole thing striped, if you want to do color blocking, if you want to do these sports stripes that I have on my first sample. All of that information is in the gauge calculator. So I'm really excited about that. The testers, I think are having fun using that and figuring it out for themselves. One of the other main reasons that I wanted to include that is I feel like I personally have funky gauge. Like anytime I've knit a pattern, I'm rarely meeting the designer's gauge. I don't know if this happens to a lot of people. I feel like it probably does. And so everyone having a different gauge, like, it doesn't make sense for everyone to try to meet like my specific gauge. And you want these cozies to be relatively snug around your device so that it's like protected a little bit, and like you don't want it to be too open. Like you want it to be snug to the Kindle and then the gauge itself to be snug as the fabric. So that's in there. It's really exciting. The test went live yesterday, Saturday, and we've already had some people working on there, starting them. I haven't seen a finished one yet, but look, you can knit it in a day. Do I recommend it? No, my hand really hurt after I knit this one in a full day, but it can be done. And yeah, the other thing is I did officially decide to change the name. I was calling it the Knit Kindle Cozy, but I believe Kindle is trademarked by Amazon, and like don't want to like get in trouble or have any issues with that. And I also want the pattern just in general to be more inclusive for people who don't use Kindles. It was something that I was debating and just finally went ahead and made the change. So it's officially called the Knit e-reader Cozy. So we lose that alliteration, but it'll be better overall. So that's the status update on my cozy. I'm aiming for the pattern to be released the weekend of April 13th. So you can look forward to all of that then. Oh, I'll show you. These are the snaps that I used on my first sample. I got these at Joann's. And this is the elastic that I used on my second sample. I got this off of Amazon. I'm also planning on releasing a whole video tutorial when the pattern is released on how to knit this. So the pattern itself will be a paid-for pattern, but the video tutorial will be free here on YouTube. So just as an FYI, all of the, you know, like needle information, notion, like extra information for all of these things, if you want to like include the zipper, like all of that will be included in the video tutorial as well. Haven't filmed it yet, but it's coming hopefully on pattern release day. Okay, that's it for the e-reader cozy pattern, and the last pattern that I want to talk to you about is my Ingrid sweater. Here it is. I've been loving using my Hedgehog Fibers bag. It's just like open, like everything is just like in here. It's huge. Anyways, I love it. Okay, this is the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. And the yarn that I'm using for this is Treehouse Knits Dove DK on her Harvest Moon colorway. And the pattern section that I'm on, I was so close to finishing it. Hold on, there's ends everywhere. I really need to take the time to just weave these in because they annoy me. Anyways, I was so close to finishing the cross-hatching section down here. Faux cables, I think maybe is what they're called. I don't know. I've been calling it the cross-hatching section. It is double the length of this section. So you can see I'm about like 1.5 repeats through. I think I only have like 3 more rows. And I could have completed this section, but I was working on this all week, like almost all day yesterday, and by the time like 7 p.m. rolled around, I was like, I can't work on this anymore. I need to put it down. And so I put it down, played a phone game while I finished what show I was watching, and yeah, that's where we're at. But I know it's a little bunched on the needles down here. Let's see if I can move the bunching to the back a little bit. There we go, that's better. So that's where I'm at with my Ingrid sweater. Okay, so after this cross-hatching section, there's another shorter section of this 2x2 rib. From what I understand, like this 2x2 rib section is the part where you can like make the length really whatever length you want it to be. So after the cross-hatching section and the little eyelet rows that go in between, I'm going to try this on to see how much more length I really want from this sweater. And then I will set up my row counter to figure out how many rows I need to knit for the 2x2 rib section, and then it goes into the 1x1 rib for the end of the body. And then I can start the sleeves. So I'm having some feelings just about like still having winter full-length sweaters on the needles as we are transitioning into spring and summer. I feel like in Southern California, like spring is pretty short. There's, you know, we're kind of in the middle right now of like some days it's pretty warm, like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the next day we've got like a thunderstorm that will roll through and it'll be pretty cold. Yesterday it rained for half the day, and today it's like, well, it's sunny, but there's some dark clouds. So we're in this like weird transition phase, but like pretty quickly here, like it's going to be hot and we're not going to get these cold days anymore. It is going to stay hot through like November, December. And so I know by the time that I finish this, by the time that I finish my Farnham sweater and all of the other like long sleeve pullovers that I have on the needles, I'm not going to be able to wear them until next winter. So I'm like feeling a little disappointed that I did not get these done this season, but I kind of did it to myself with like all of the projects that I cast on around the same time in January. So I've got no one here to blame but myself, but just wanted to throw it out there that those are the feelings that I'm having. I am really enjoying still knitting on this. So at some point, I think I am going to have to make a decision on if I just want to finish it now so that it's ready to go for the next like cold season, or if I want to like put the knitting on hold and like wait to finish it closer to the fall. I haven't decided yet. So that's where we're at with my Ingrid sweater. The same feelings are coming up for my Farnham sweater, and I'm like even less far along than I am on this. Again, which is like a little disappointing, but it is what it is. So there's not much we can do about it. Look at all these ends. They're like tentacles. Craziness. But anyways, I like do feel like I'm getting closer to hitting the milestone on this by finishing the body. So maybe in a couple weeks the body will be done. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You never know, because I also feel like sometimes I make a decision and then like I'll change my mind like an hour later. So okay, the last thing that I want to talk to you about is like part acquisition, part spring knitting plans, part yes, we're gonna cast on another project even though we have all these whips on the needles, but it'll be worth it? Question mark. Okay, let's go through the acquisitions first because it like feeds into the rest of this conversation. I had 2 yarn packages delivered to me this week from pre-orders that I had ordered from. The first is from Dusty Yarn Co., their For Real Life collection, which is a bluey themed collection. The second is from Red Door Fiber Studio and their Dungeons and Dickheads collection, which is a D&D themed collection. And I opened up both of these packages and I was like, LOL, they're basically the same colors. So here's all the yarn. Like I said, very similar colors. So let me walk you through this. The first from Dusty Yarn Co. I ordered 3 skeins. These two are on their classic fingering base, which is a 100% superwash merino 4-ply, 437 yards per 100 grams. So I have 2 skeins of this. This will either be an Oslo hat or a tank top. Haven't decided yet. And then I ordered 1 skein of the same colorway. This color is called Granny's, and this is on their classic alpaca sport base, which is 100% baby alpaca, 3-ply, 291 yards per 100 grams. This is the same base that I'm using for my Farnham sweater, and I'm really loving it. And then from the Red Door Fiber Studio collection, I ordered these 4 skeins. So these 2 are on her classic sock base. It's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon 4-ply, 462 yards per 100 grams. So again, these will either be, I'm thinking this is going to be a tank top. We're going to come back to this. And then I also ordered 1 skein of the mohair lace, which is a 72% kid mohair, 28% silk, 459 yards per 50 grams. And actually my thought process when I was ordering this was I loved this colorway so much. Oh, the color is called Magic Mouth, by the way. But I didn't know if I wanted to use these 2 skeins together, like 2 fingering weights, or if I wanted to do like a fingering weight and a mohair hat or something. So that's why I bought all 3, because I needed to figure out like if I really wanted the full saturation of this color, if I wanted the mohair to like tone it down a little bit. You can see just that the mohair and like this other skein that I got, I'll tell you, this is the Alpaca Sport base. It is a different base from the Dusty Yarn Co. base. This one is 80% superfine alpaca and 20% silk, 287 yards per 100 grams. But you can see that the alpaca and the mohair took the dye just a little bit different than the 100%, well, than the merino nylon base did. So I didn't know if I wanted the full saturation of the merino, if I wanted to hold it with the mohair. I didn't know, so I needed to order all of it. But I'm thinking of holding these 2 together for a tank top. So this is where my next cast on / spring knitting plans come in. I do have to make a little bit of a decision here because I want to cast this on to bring on the cruise that we're leaving for tomorrow. But I want to knit a mini mock neck tank, and I also want to knit one of the tanks that's on my Make 9, and starting my spring knitting plans. The one that's on my Make 9 is called the Ribbed to Your Measure by Lacey Williamson. I think I've been debating whether or not I want to cast on the mini mock neck first or the Ribbed to Your Measure. I think I'm going to cast on the mini mock neck first because I have seen a lot of people knit this. I have friends who are currently knitting this, and I think it's just in general a more popular pattern. So trying it out is something that I'm really interested in. I can give feedback if other people are interested in making it. I think it's going to become even more popular now that we're going back into spring, summer, and the warmer months. So I think that's the one that I'm going to knit. So that was the first decision that I had to make. The Rib to Your Measure is still on my Make 9. I'm definitely going to knit it. My thought right now is to knit it after I knit the mini mock neck. So just finish one, then move to the other, kind of decide which tank I like better, because I feel like I'm gonna be knitting a few more tanks for my wardrobe just in general. And so then the next decision was, okay, well, what color do I want to knit it in? My thought is this, okay? Someone left a really great comment on my Did You Wear Your Knits in 2023 video. I think it was that video. And they said that they started to knit for themselves a whole bunch of like high neck tank tops and cardigans, and that this like outfit formula made it so that they could wear their knits way more often. And this like lit up a light bulb in my head. I was like, wow, this is a really great idea. This is a really great suggestion, because like I want to knit more cardigans so that I can wear them over t-shirts. But then if you've got the like knit tank or the knit t-shirt to layer underneath, you're getting two knits in the same outfit. Plus you can like mix and match depending on the colors that you knit things in. So there's a lot of really great ideas, like advice in this. So I'm like trying to move into this direction. I now have my two favorite knit cardigans, both the Cal cardigan, this one in pink and this one in green. So I want to have my first, at least my first tank top be in a color that will work with both of these cardigans so that I can get multi-use out of it. And okay, so keep that in mind. My original thought for colors of the tank that I wanted to knit was this. I purchased this Hedgehog Fibers yarn, 2 skeins of it in Ireland when we went to visit Hedgehog Fibers. This color is called Purr, like a cat. And like this has been in my stash since October, and I've just been like, I knew that I wanted this to be a tank top. I've been wanting to cast this on. Sorry, I'm too excited. I'm tripping over my words. However, this purple doesn't really like match with my pink cardigan or my green cardigan. So like if I knit up this purple as a tank top, I wouldn't really be able to layer either of these over it. I mean, I feel like I could, like it would be a super colorful outfit, but it doesn't really go. And the other 2 skein quantity yarns that I have in my stash that I have been saving for like tank tops are also purple. This is the other one, which is from Ba Yarns, their La Jolla base. I got this in local yarn store day last year, 2023, from Apricot Yarns. And then I also have this option, which is looking a little bit more pink on camera. I guess it is like a mix between like a pink and purple. This is a 100% mulberry silk yarn from Paisley Knits, her Harry Styles collection. It's called Sweet Creature. I want to make like a tank or a tee in this. I don't think I want this to be the first one that I knit up because it's a different base. It's 100% silk. I don't really know how it's going to respond to like different fabrics. I do think this would go nicely with my pink cardigan. Not the best, but like it could work with the green. The other option that I have is this, which is from Explorer Knits. This is Daybreak. Now the thing about these 2 skeins that I have is it's cashmere. 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Now this I think would go really nicely with both of my cardigans. Look how good that looks with the pink. This would kind of pull in, I don't know if you can see, there's like yellowy orangey spots in the green cardigan. Like this one really goes with both. However, I'm just like not super drawn to working with this color right now. So that's part of my issue as well. Now, I just got 2 tank quantities in the mail. So these are now both options as well. This one I think reads a little bit more purple, and so I don't know if it's the best to go with this cardigan, but this one I think would be really fun. I think this would look pretty nice with the pink. It would be like a lot of pink at once, but I think I could do it. And I think it would be kind of fun under the green. Kind of pull out those like orangey speckles a little bit, even though it's a whole different color. I don't know. This is my current thought. And unfortunately, I am not going to be able to see any of your opinions before I need to make a decision and cast this on, because the video is going to go up probably around the same time that we have to leave tomorrow. So I have to get this wound up and cast on today so that it's ready to go for tomorrow. But these are my two main options. I think this is my final decision. I'm going to start with this because it's so fun. I'm so inspired by it. It'll make a great tank. And then next will be this because it goes with both. Maybe this will be the ribbed to your measure tank so that I can test out the second pattern. I think that would be kind of nice. And then I can move on to all of my purple yarns and like figure something out with that. What I really need to do is decide on my next cardigan pattern and see if I have yarn in my stash that I want to use for my next cardigan pattern that would go nicely with a purple base. So I don't know if I want to do like a cream cardigan or like what colors would really go nicely with the purple underneath. I don't know. I need to figure that out. I'm also in the middle of getting my color analysis done. A whole video to be coming soon in the next few weeks about that, because I'm hoping that will give me a little bit more information on if any of these yarn colors that I'm using in my life are actually great colors for me. So, I mean, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of picking colors, but I am interested to see what the color analysis experts say. So, that was a lot. That was a little bit of my thought process going into my spring knitting plans. A lot of tanks on there, a lot of the like the tees and tanks that are on my Make 9 are going to be cast on soon. Although I don't want to cast them all on at the same time like I did in winter. I want to have a little bit more of like a monogamous knitting process flow for my spring knitting plans. And I think it will be a little bit easier just knowing that like this warm season from spring into summer is a little bit longer. It gives me a little bit more time for me in my climate where I'm located. So anyways, yeah, a lot more videos to come. I'm going to be doing a whole vlog series on knitting this tank while I'm on the cruise. So hopefully my vision is, you know, seeing me knit with the ocean in the background, seeing me knit while we're playing trivia and bingo. I'm sure there will be some setbacks as I'm knitting this. I'll probably need to frog part of the way through. My idea is that like, oh, can I knit the whole tank top, you know, while we're on the cruise? But this is a lot of knitting. Like, this is fingering weight. So probably won't actually happen. Let's all manage our expectations here. But that's going to be the question of the video. So you have that to look forward to as well. Alright, I think that's it. I think that's enough rambling for today. Next week, I'm not really going to be bringing any of my other projects onto the cruise, so I don't know if you'll get a full podcast episode next week. It might just be the cruise knitting vlog and maybe my spring knitting plans if I have time to make that video. I probably won't. There will probably only be one video next week. I got a lot of work to get done next week when I get back, so help. No, it's all good. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Let's cut it now because I'm rambling. So thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast episode. If you enjoyed and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all of my future videos. If you're not following me over on Instagram, you can go hit the follow button at Nick California. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. I will see you on the next one. Bye!